This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Here is a cartoon with a difference. The first full-length cartoon film to be made in England.
What's your name, man?
Nick.
Nick, I'm Andrew. Nice to meet you.
Let's hear your reasoning.
Well, I think it's pretty simple. Leviticus 11, Deuteronomy 14 says not to eat the swine, along with camels, horses. That's Old Testament. So what's the significance of it being in the Old Testament?
Well, it's whenever Peter walked up,
Produced by the brilliant team of Hallis and Batchelor, it has been acclaimed by New York and London critics alike. It tells a compelling story for every adult. Yet it's assuredly a film that every child can enjoy. Come and visit Animal Farm, where all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. Meet its quite extraordinary inhabitants. The wise and wishful old Major.
But remember, now and forever, all animals are equal.
Napoleon, a pig of a dictator. Squealer of the sly eye and lying tongue.
Long live Napoleon!
And Snowball, who is hounded out of his animal kingdom. You'll love Boxer, who works like a horse. His faithful friends, Benjamin the willing donkey.
and I should say Peter had his vision. Jesus said, and the scroll came down. He looked at it. He says, "There's two reasons for this. I know. The first reason is he was saying, what I've cleansed, do not call unclean." Then the Gentiles showed up. When the Gentiles showed up, he said, "Oh no, I know what the significance of it."
Yeah.
However,
he sent them to Joppa. On the morrow, as they went on their journey, and drew nigh unto the city, Peter went up upon the housetop to pray, about the 6th hour. And he became very hungry, and would have eaten, but while they made ready, he fell into a trance, and saw heaven opened, and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners, and let down to the earth, wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. And there came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat. But Peter said, Not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. And the voice spake unto him again the second time, What God hath cleansed, that call not thou common. This was done thrice, and the vessel was received up again into heaven. Now, and he said unto them, Ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation. But God hath shown me that I should not call any man common or unclean.
However, Paul says there's 4 different things that we shouldn't do. The number one thing with regard to eating, he says as long as you don't eat strangled food. That isn't on there. So Gentiles are allowed to eat pig.
Well, that was a weird circle, but let's address it one at a time. I know, so let's break it down one at a time, okay? So
Hey,
Muriel, who acts the goat. Then, of course, there's the drunken farmer, Jones, who gets his just desserts. And Whymper, who wangles and barters till it...
okay,
but
so
hey, but we're Christian. We can disagree.
sure. It doesn't matter if it's in the Old Testament; it's still valid.
Yes, it does. It absolutely does.
Okay, so whatever is in the New Testament, that's what's binding on the believer to follow?
No.
No?
There's multiple things that we can look at.
Okay, so what's in the Old Testament doesn't matter. Hang on, I just want to ask a clarifying question.
You're putting a straw man argument. Let me stop you.
hurts. Remember then to visit Animal Farm. Make certain you watch Pig Brother just as he is watching you.
Okay, so whatever is in the New Testament, that's what's binding on the believer to follow?
No. There's multiple things that we can look at.
Okay, so what's in the Old Testament doesn't matter. Hang on, I just want to ask a clarifying question.
You're putting a straw man argument. Let me stop you. Don't create straw man arguments.
I was just getting clarification about what you said. You said, well, that's Old Testament. Hey, brother, this is where this discussion is not going to be able to work very well if you don't let me talk, okay?
Go ahead.
So you
Matthew 15. Then came to Jesus scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, Why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. But he answered and said unto them, Why do ye also transgress the commandment of God by your tradition? For God commanded, saying, Honour thy father and mother, and he that curseth father or mother, let him die the death. But ye say, Whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, It is a gift, by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me, and honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. Thus have ye made the commandment of
New Testament. Which ones are those? Why don't you tell me that?
Well, I'm not the one who just proposed that idea. I don't agree with that. So why don't you tell me what laws he rescinds?
Okay. Okay. Then my wife has it. Do you have your phone? All right. Can you look up?
God of none effect by your tradition. Ye hypocrites, well did Isaiah prophesy of you, saying, This people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth, and honoureth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. And he called the multitude, and said unto them, Hear, and understand. Not that which goeth into the mouth defileth a man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, this defileth a man. Then came his disciples, and said unto him, Knowest thou that the Pharisees were offended after they heard this saying?
Do not eat animals sacrificed that have been strangled. Just write that, and that'll be the correct verse. So I want to make sure we get it right.
Okay.
You Parkers, do you know what the future holds for you? Do we deserve such a fate?
Acts 15:20.
Okay, pull it up. Pull it up.
That ye abstain from meats offered to idols, and from blood, and from things strangled, and from fornication.
To live according to the Jewish law.
Jewish law? Wait, what's the Jewish law?
Well, you just mentioned in Leviticus, those are Jewish laws. But let me step back. I'm answering.
What about
your
Leviticus
question.
18?
You just got done saying, hey, bro, if this conversation is going to go well,
Sure.
you have to let me talk.
You're saying words, and I just want to make sure you're defining those words so we can understand
I just gave you scripture.
What does that say? Laughter House. That sounds awesome. I love to laugh.
Okay.
And I'm going to explain scripture.
Okay.
So Paul just says you're Gentiles, and he's writing to Gentiles in the book of Acts. He's not writing to Hebrews. If he is, in fact, the author of the book of Hebrews, he's writing to Gentiles. He says, if you do those four things, you're going to do well. And whenever he mentions the eating of animals sacrificed to idols, don't do that, and don't go ahead and eat animals that have been strangled, because the blood is still in them, because life is in the blood.
Yeah.
So
Leviticus 17, right?
So I've given you, one right there that you can't.
Well, that actually
give up.
actually helps my argument.
Let's hear it.
Slaughterhouse. Look at all this deliciousness. They want this. Do you want to be food, or do you want freedom? Then let's fight for it.
Let's hear it. That's how.
Do you think that Christians can eat blood today?
Well, wait a minute. We're talking about pig.
I'm just asking a question. Do you think that Christians can drink blood today?
Paul suggests animals strangled.
Well, he also said blood in that verse that you just read.
Actually, at any rate, he said those things.
You're a Christian?
When Peter, yeah.
Okay.
When Peter saw it in a vision, when he thought that he cannot combine the Gentiles with the Jews, and then he saw it coming from, and Jesus said, or the Lord said, he cannot, what God has permitted.
Common, right.
So
Did you read verse 28 of that same chapter? Peter's conclusion. He says, "Now I know not to call any man common or unclean." He'd say, "Now I know not to call any pork chops common or unclean."
Well, but
yeah, so to add some sort of interpretation that's not there is kind of irresponsible as a Christian, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, but will this make any difference in the feet?
Well, yeah. Well, what God says is sin, we should avoid, right, as Christians?
But that's not a sin.
Well, it says in Leviticus 11 and Deuteronomy 14 that it is.
Well,
okay, and what he was referring to was animals sacrificed to idols that could have potentially been part of a covenant meal in a pagan temple, right? And they were put back in the meat markets, and then when you went and bought them, the person buying them may not have actually known that it was part of a covenant meal to a false god. Paul was saying that's not inherently unclean, right? It's a clean animal. It's lamb, cow, and so that person buying that is not contracting a demon just because it may have been a part of a covenant meal prior to making its way into the meat markets. Inherently unclean like pigs, bats, and rats.
The first place.
I'm sorry?
Eating animals as well came after the flood.
It was before the flood as well.
No,
how many animals did Noah take on the ark?
Before the flood of Noah.
There was no distinction between clean and unclean?
No, before the flood, there was no animal slaughtered at the first place to be eaten.
So what was Cain and Abel offering?
They were eating fruit.
Okay.
They were only vegan at the time, so it came after the flood.
Well, how do you know that there was no animals being eaten that time?
Because I know.
Because you know. Yeah. Okay. That's not enough, man.
And now we're talking about Old Testament. So Jesus came.
What's wrong with Old Testament?
Nothing wrong, but Jesus came to complete the Old Testament.
What does that mean?
Fulfill the prophecies.
What does that mean?
To fulfill it. So it was told to you,
Do you know what fulfill means?
And teeth for a teeth, but now I tell you,
what does fulfill mean? What does fulfill mean?
That's what the fulfillment.
The Greek word is plerao. It means it means actually to do, to preach. That's Leviticus 19.
Yeah.
Okay. Leviticus 11 says the distinction between clean and unclean animals.
I'm not saying that the Old Testament, we're not going to follow the Old Testament.
So don't eat the swine.
That's materialism.
So is loving your neighbor. Your neighbor's material.
No. That Jesus came to elevate our spiritual lives.
Okay.
Not to talk about material. That's
keep the commandments of God as a Christian, brother. That's what I'd encourage you to do.
Pigs and what you eat, you have to wash your hands. Jesus said.
There's nothing in the commandments about washing your hands like the Pharisee said. Yeah.
That's what
I understand.
Wash your heart.
So that was.
Your mind.
Keep the commandments, brother. Don't be a hypocrite, okay?
Washing your hands before you eat.
Yep.
Because I look at your heart.
Have you read the Mishnah? That was a man-made tradition. You need to wash your hands before and after the meal.
Orthodox, Coptic Orthodox from Egypt.
So then you know the difference between man-made traditions and commandments of God then, right?
Good.
God bless you, man. Thanks for chatting with me.
No, comrades.
Psalm 91. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler, and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon a lion and adder. The young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. Because he hath set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him, and show him my salvation. It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord, and to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High, to show forth thy loving kindness in the morning, and thy faithfulness every night, upon an instrument of 10 strings, and upon the psaltery, upon the harp with a solemn sound. For thou, Lord, hast made me glad through thy work. I will triumph in the works of thy hands. O Lord, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not, neither doth a fool understand this. When the wicked spring as the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed for ever. But thou, Lord, art most high for evermore. For lo, thine enemies, O Lord, for lo, thine enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But my horn shalt thou exalt like the horn of an unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. Mine eye also shall see my desire on mine enemies, and mine ears shall hear my desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of the Lord shall flourish in the courts of our God. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing, to show that the Lord is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. Psalm 93. The Lord reigneth. He is clothed with majesty. The Lord is clothed with strength, wherewith he hath girded himself. The world also is established, that it cannot be moved. Thy throne is established of old. Thou art from everlasting. The floods have lifted up, O Lord, the floods have lifted up their voice. The floods lift up their waves. The Lord on high is mightier than the noise of many waters, yea, than the mighty waves of the sea. Thy testimonies are very sure. Holiness becometh thine house, O Lord, for ever. Psalm 94. O Lord God, to whom vengeance belongeth, O God, to whom vengeance belongeth, show thyself. Lift up thyself, thou judge of the earth, render a reward to the proud. Lord, how long shall the wicked triumph? How long shall they utter and speak hard things, and all the workers of iniquity boast themselves? They break in pieces thy people, O Lord, and afflict thine heritage. They slay the widow and the stranger, and murder the fatherless. Yet they say, the Lord shall not see, neither shall the God of Jacob regard it. Understand, ye brutish among the people, and ye fools, when will ye be wise? He that planted the ear, shall he not hear? He that formed the eye, shall he not see? He that chastiseth the heathen, shall not he correct? He that teacheth man knowledge, shall not he know? The Lord knoweth the thoughts of man, that they are vanity. Blessed is the man whom thou chastenest, O Lord, and teachest him out of thy law, that thou mayest give him rest from the days of adversity, until the pit be digged for the wicked. For the Lord will not cast off his people, neither will he forsake his inheritance. But judgment shall return unto righteousness, and all the upright in heart shall follow it. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers, or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? Unless the Lord had been my help, my soul had almost dwelt in silence. When I said, My foot slippeth, thy mercy, O Lord, held me up. In the multitude of my thoughts within me, thy comforts delight my soul. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law? They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous, and condemn the innocent blood. But the Lord is my defense, and my God is the rock of my refuge. And he shall bring upon them their own iniquity, and shall cut them off in their own wickedness, yea, the Lord our God shall cut them off. Psalm 95. O come, let us sing unto the Lord. Let us make a joyful noise to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before his presence with thanksgiving, and make a joyful noise unto him with psalms. For the Lord is a great God, and a great King above all gods. In his hand are the deep places of the earth. The strength of the hills is his also. The sea is his, and he made it, and his hands formed the dry land. O come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker. For he is our God, and we are the people of his pasture, and the sheep of his hand. Today, if ye will hear his voice, harden not your heart, as in the provocation, and as in the day of temptation in the wilderness, when your fathers tempted me, proved me, and saw my work. 40 years long was I grieved with this generation, and said, It is a people that do err in their heart, and they have not known my ways. Unto whom I swear in my wrath, that they should not enter into my rest.